workshop meeting of the Verona Borough Council for Tuesday, October 30th. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call? Yeah. Roll call?
President Ricky Bell.
Here.
Mr. Conti.
Here.
Dr. Carpenter.
Present.
Ms. Lualbo. Mr. McCarthy.
Here. Present.
Mrs. Provenza.
Here.
Mr. Suchovich.
Here.
Mayor Recupero.
Here.
And I'm also here.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to take a moment of silence for the victims in the Squirrel Hill shooting. Okay, council will now hear registered comments from the public. We have a presentation from the Upcode Studios for our website launch.
Alrighty, hi everybody. My name is Chris Samaroni, and I'm the CEO and founder of Upcode Studios. We're a software development and online marketing agency out of Pittsburgh. We also live locally. It's my first time meeting a lot of you, so I just want to say hi and really appreciate the time. So just a little bit ago, we were blessed with the opportunity to build a new website for the Verona Borough, and I'm excited to show you guys what we've got. So if anybody has any comments, I would love to hear them. And unfortunately, there's a lot of content on the site, so if we start saying all the comments right out loud, then I think it might be hard to handle. So afterwards, I'll be here, and if any of you have any ideas, I'd love to chat. Alrighty. So this is the new homepage for the Verona Borough website. And just as a little disclaimer, there is a little bit of content on the website that we still need to fill out. Just a few pictures and text here and there. So if you see something that isn't absolutely perfect, understand we're still in the process of completing it. Alrighty. So as you scroll down, there's more information here. Essentially, this goes through and explains the summary of Verona Borough and some of the things that you guys believe in. As you continue to scroll, there's a few tabs here for people to find more information. Things like the public services, the Verona, Pennsylvania government, permits and forms, events, and Verona, PA life. If you click on these, you'll notice that there's different information for each. So on this one, if you're trying to find the permits and forms, you can click here. As you continue to scroll down, there's more information about Verona Borough and some basic information down here. And this will also be a different signature moving forward.
That's going to be Sandy's signature.
It's going to be Sandy's, yeah.
Is that what I submitted?
And,
Yeah.
this is one of those high-impact zones on the website. So if there's any content that anyone thinks that we should get in here, please let us know. We'd love to get it in. Anything that would help the borough stand out. So when you go back to the top, you'll notice that there are quite a few different pages. This is the first of Verona, PA government. And you'll notice that, there's Sandy. As you scroll down, there's different information here. And we're still seeking some photographs for certain sections of the site. As we get those photographs, this will be formatted to be just a little bit finer. The officials page. Also waiting for finalized pictures of all of the officials. You'll notice at the bottom of the page there's a good bit of information for people to contact. A picture of the City Hall. when you click on council meetings, it provides you a Google Calendar that will be updated with all the new council meetings. So if you guys are ever wondering when that's going to be, you can just click right there.
We have all the different meetings, or just council?
It can be as whatever combination you guys would like. This page is specifically for the council meetings. However, it might not be a bad idea to put more information there for anyone who may be curious. The council committees page, which we're also waiting for some more images on. Commissions and boards. You'll notice a lot of these pages we're waiting on images. Once those images are in there, everything will be tightened up. And then the Verona Code. Here are a couple of the different codes, like the Local Government Law Library, the Allegheny County PA Code, Pennsylvania State Code, and the E Code 360. If you click on these, it'll take you to the right resource. And when you click on Public Services, you'll notice there's the police, fire, public works, parks and recreation, public utilities, and EMS. For the police department, we're still seeking, these pictures are great, we like these, we're always looking for better ones. We'd like to get a picture of everyone in the police department. A group photo would be great. You'll notice the fire department page looks very similar. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask me if you have any. The Public Works page, you'll see the Verona's Maintenance Department and some information about them here. A lot of this information was on the old website. However,
Yeah, I sent them another.
it is-
They have that picture.
it is still on this website with some improvements. The Parks and Recreation page, here you'll notice that you can see Google Maps embeds of both of the parks. That way if someone is looking for directions and they're on their phone or they're on their laptop, they can click here to
So the one
navigate
on
and see where it is.
the one on the left should be Riverbank Park. Riverside's in Oakmont,
Okay,
so we have to change that to Riverbank.
Riverbank?
Mhm.
Okay. Naomi, can you write that down very quickly? And here are two pictures of them. We would also like to get more pictures of the parks. I think that would be a great idea. Public utilities.
Yeah.
You can see all these here. There's also a waste management calendar that you can view.
Good old guess is now Peoples.
It's now Peoples. Okay. Naomi, can you write that as well? Now when you go to permits and forms, these are all the permits and forms that were listed on the other website. Here, they are listed as well. And we have these nice big purple buttons so people can download them. If anybody has any permit or form that they would like added to the site, I'm sure that you can talk to Jerry or Sherry. When you click on the events page, here are the two seasonal events that we talked about, and also a calendar with all upcoming events and videos of meetings. And then as we go over to Verona PA Life, you'll see that there's community life, business, places of worship, civic organizations, the Chamber of Commerce, demographics, schools, a directory, and links. And we'll quickly go through those. So for the community life, there's a list of clubs, dining, and other places, as well as public facilities, sports, and senior living. business page, you'll notice all these logos here. We are prepared to add new logos for new businesses as they come in.
Yeah.
And if there's ever information that you guys would see fit that you'd like to add, just let us know.
Chris, were those logos the ones that patronized the newsletter?
I don't think that was updated from the last time that we spoke, but I did want to give you guys the opportunity to mention that today.
Okay.
That we would like to kind of sync the logos mentioned on the website with those mentioned on your newsletter.
Yeah.
Okay. When you click on place of worship, you'll notice the churches here. We would like to get some better pictures. Some of these are Google Map pictures. We would like to get really nice photographs of them. When you click on civic organizations, you'll see the list here. A little bit about the Verona PA Flower and Garden Club, the Historical Society, etc.
I believe this is also somewhere we spoke about having an opportunity for group photos.
Right. It would be fantastic to get as many group photos as we can. That would be really great. We're going to skip the Chamber of Commerce for now. We need to get a little more information on that. Apologies. I believe we also took off the schools. So here are some public schools and some private schools, nurseries and a daycare, and the children's daycare. And here's a directory with phone numbers to a lot of the needed locations such as schools, utilities, and other services. As well as miscellaneous links to other documents and valuable information. So that was a quick overview, and thank you all for bearing with me through all of those pages. I know there was so many, but that is the new Verona Borough website, and I'd love to hear your opinions.
If we find afterwards if we see some corrections need to be done, that can be done easily enough?
Definitely, and I'm here to help you guys the whole way through the process. We want to make sure we get absolutely everything we need in there.
Go back to that one before this.
Yeah.
What is that 53593? Is that supposed to be our zip code?
Oh, yes, that specific one does need corrected. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
On the home page, I believe we corrected that. We just need to get it copied over.
I have a question.
Yeah. Yes.
So it says on that round thing, 2019, is that gonna change every year? What's that? What is that?
Yeah, so we do plan on changing that every year, just so the website is updated to the present form. It'll be a quick change, and we're prepared to do it for you guys.
So does that mean that it's not gonna start till January?
No, we're gonna get it on 2018. It's a very quick fix. It'll
Okay.
make sure it's right when it's
So
published.
the idea is to have it say what the current year is?
Yes.
2018, 2019, 2020?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
In regards to the business links, or the business page, will those be links?
Yes, they actually are links currently.
Will it leave the site or will it stay on the page?
It will leave the site. So if your business is listed here, it'll take you to their business.
So you're planning on updating that graphic every single year?
Yes.
Is what you're saying? And what if there comes a time when, the borough isn't working with you specifically on this anymore? I've just been in a lot of situations working with nonprofit organizations. They no longer have access to update their website and it starts to look really old and stale, and something like that, right on the front page would be pretty striking.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe it would be better just to have, incorporate a date instead, so you don't have to update it every year.
That's a great concern.
What?
I think, what we're planning on doing is getting all the files and access points over to Jerry. And then from that, you can feel free to change this however you'd like or ask us to change it. If something happens and, God forbid Naomi and I get swallowed up by a volcano somewhere or something, hopefully you can find another graphic designer or somebody to assist on the project. and it's a JPEG file. So that's a great idea, though. I think, keeping something standard might be less maintenance.
It's a basic question. How are you accepting comments on this? Is this live now?
So this is not live. It's roughly 85% of the way there. We're going to go through and do one last sprint. This is just to get that last little bit of information from everybody to see what they would like, so we can make it perfect.
I have a question on the date. Not to drill down too far, but with the date, you said that's a JPEG, so you can't necessarily just type that. Because typically on the bottom it says copyright or gives you the date, so you have to make the picture.
Right, and I also have the Photoshop files, so I can make sure somebody has them too. I don't plan on disappearing, but if I do, you guys will have all the access you need, or whoever it may be can get in there and change those pieces of information.
What is the date that the website scheduled to go live?
It's roughly within the month of November, depending on information and new ideas that come up. We would like it to be live, I could say November 1st. With projects like this, we want to make sure that we have everything lined up and perfect before we go.
Can you say within 2 weeks of having all of the content that we require?
Absolutely, for sure, yeah.
Is there going to be an opportunity before you go live for more review and like proofreading and editing or whatever?
For sure, absolutely. And that's the type of thing that a meeting like this would be useful for general flow and ideas. But when there's this much information on a site, it may be best for people to pick it apart individually.
Yeah, I can't see everything up there from this far away.
Of course.
Chris, am I correct that this is a preview link that can be shared with
Yes.
everyone
Oh,
at the
that'd be
table, so
good.
that they can individually write suggestions via email or something and send them in?
Yeah, that's a great idea. And Jerry, maybe you can help me collect those. And
Yeah. Do you want to do that, or do you want to send me that link? Is it the same link I have before?
yeah,
I'll just send everybody the link.
fantastic. And the website is fully mobile responsive, so it looks good on mobile devices as well. It looks good on tablets. It looks good on landscapes modes and Android and iOS as well. So
Yeah.
it should look good everywhere. If anybody finds a bug, it's a team effort. So definitely let me know if you find it, and I'll make sure to fix it. In the future, if there's any other ideas, my number, Jerry, you have my number. Anybody who would like to call me, feel free to do so. And I really appreciate all the feedback. All right, any other questions?
There was a group of us in the community put together a list of concerns or issues with the current website. Is that something you received?
I sent that, yep.
Yeah, because I couldn't get it on my phone or my tablet before.
Yeah, and that was one of the major things that we wanted to fix. What you can see here is, this should look just like this. As you condense the page, it is mobile responsive. Yeah, I need to get it on my phone. You'll see how it dances around to stay responsive. And then, oh yeah, you can do it in there, the inspect element.
Yeah.
12 on one place and 15 in the other.
I know,
For
I need
miles.
to fix that on the back end, and I'll send you
Okay.
the documents, but thank you, I have it written down.
Okay.
Just to check it out.
One more comment while you're scrolling around. I find the calendar
That's
part
not
to be a
accurate.
little confusing personally, because you have a borough calendar in Google Calendar, and then you have a community calendar. And I would think it would just be kind of one for, if you're putting just borough council meetings, you could just list those. You wouldn't even need to have like a special calendar just for those. To me, it makes most sense to just have it all in one spot.
That's a
That's my
great
personal
idea.
opinion.
That's really up to everyone here. If you would like one calendar rather than.
I think it would make it more simple, but it's up to the board also. Well, like she said.
Okay, I love the idea of all the information being in one place.
Right.
Mainly because sometimes someone could be looking for one thing, and if they find more, especially with
It's right
events,
there.
that's probably a good thing.
Is there any reason to remain it, or to keep it at 2 calendars for the way that you guys organize it? No?
No.
Great.
And what we were thinking with this homepage, right now, the text is tailored to showcase the forms. being that, that's some of the most useful information that we saw. But we made it in a way that we can change this frequently. So if there's new events in Verona, or there's anything that you want to bring attention to, you can change that text and that call to action easily. Let's just say we wanted to raise funds for the massacre that happened just a few days ago. You could change the text right there to say, if you'd like to donate, here's a button. Mainly because 90% of website traffic doesn't scroll past the first view. It's kind of just the society we live in. That's what my analytics have told us. So while we have people's attention, it's nice to get one call to action in front of them, which is the most important. And it's also nice to not be completely static with it. It's nice to keep it changing and relevant.
Jerry, have you sent the code that I sent you to them?
Your thing? Not yet. They'll have that on the new one. So we'll have to add the text message system on there, a place for them. Do you need a link to go to your page, right? Or do you want to put it in? You have your HTML code.
Yeah, HTML code. So we have a code for the text alert over on where you start with your phone number and it goes through the process.
Okay.
So I'm not sure where they want to put it on the website, but
That's a great piece of information. I think, maybe putting that in a bar right here,
right,
or something like that.
Yep.
A little email slot so people can sign up would be great. Another thing that could happen, maybe just at the beginning to get people involved, is you could put it at the top of the site so that people can click that button and get those text alerts for the things that are most important.
Just to make sure this is mentioned, you're going to present them with the login for website changes so that they're able to access that at any time, correct?
Yes, correct.
Like,
So the software that this was built in is something called Webflow. It's very similar to Squarespace or Wix, if anyone has ever used those. The reason we like Webflow the most is because behind the scenes, it is actually coding the website in proper HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And you can export it 100% cleanly. Website builders like Squarespace and Wix sometimes export something that is literally called magic in their code. It's a language, and it doesn't allow you to do certain things with it. So Webflow is very great. It's a drag and drop builder. So if anyone ever gets in there to do changes, you can highlight over the thing you'd like and double click it.
I only bring that up just to mention the fact that you guys will have login access to the back end so that if there are text changes, image changes, or like you said, if we fall in a volcano, you have access to make those changes. No website is being held hostage. It's your website. We're here to help you to get it right, but we want you guys to know that it is your website and you have complete access to it.
And we've had some ideas of things in the future that, is all up for debate, but there's some incredible functionality through Facebook that could really help tie the community together. We talked about that briefly. There's visitor tracking, so you could send the same amount of information to everyone who goes to the website. So this is where we're at now. We'll be going live soon, and there's only going to be more to come.
Is there any possibility of putting the newsletter on there?
Definitely, for sure.
Okay. And what about updates, like emergency updates? Is there a page specifically for any current events?
So there is an events page, but there's nothing for critical events. There's an EMS page. So if you're looking for a medical service quickly, you can go there. It'll explain how to contact people. For a crisis, there is nothing planned here as of right now, but that's a great idea. What I've seen in the past is people put stock ticker-like things at the bottom of a website, and whenever there is a crisis or a new urgent update, they will update that. They'll put all that information there so people can see it front and center.
So the social media and Instagram, Facebook, can work with that?
Yes. One of the
They
times.
can, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
I'm not sure if anyone knows what a Facebook pixel is. Essentially, it allows you to track visitors who go to your site. So anyone who goes to your site could receive an advertisement for the next 30 to 60 days afterwards. That sponsored ad doesn't need to be selling anything. It could just be updating people on new events in the city, etc. So we're talking about that now. It's definitely a possibility.
Chris?
Yeah.
Is there a way, I mean, I don't know how websites function, but is there a way to put minutes from the meetings here and also agendas
Definitely.
for the public? I don't know where that would
Yeah,
fit in there.
Minutes from the meetings, you mean like live video coverage?
No.
Like the text, like PDFs.
Yes, definitely, for sure.
Okay.
And we can figure out which page that would go on. That would probably go on the council meeting.
Yeah, I think we talked about putting it on the council meetings website is what we thought, with a page, so, yeah, that's cool.
Will the old .com website redirect to this?
Yes.
Yes.
So once it's live, that's where it will.
Yeah.
And we will keep a version of the old website. Everything is stored on a tool called the Wayback Machine. So if it ever needs accessed, et cetera, if anything's ever there, it'll always be able to be.
So is there any way we can just make it .com instead of .org?
It'll be both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be both.
Oh, okay.
.gov, they changed that, Dawn, and it's very, very expensive, like $500 or $600 a year, as opposed to like $14.99 to have .com. But we did look at that. It's the federal government controls that, and it's very expensive.
So, once this goes live, then are we as the borough compensating you for a monthly upkeep fee or something?
So if there are any updates that are out of our discussion, then Jerry and I, we'll certainly be talking about that. There's no agreement as of now, but we're not going anywhere. Any sort of small fixes, I'm here to help. I'm all for a better borough, and anything that we can do to help fix the images, the text, reformatting quickly will definitely help. If there's fees associated with any extended work, we can definitely discuss that.
Anything else?
All right, well, thank you all so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, it looks good.
Thank you.
I really appreciate the time today.
Okay, council will now hear comments on agenda-related items at this time. Please be sure to have signed in. If you're going to comment either now or later, and approach the podium, state your name and address.
Is the agenda here?
Yeah.
Carrie Del Rosso. You all have my work plan and information regarding my contract. And if you have any questions, ask me tonight, or if you want some time to look at it and come up with some points on the work plan that I need to revise, I'm available in the next week or so, just let me know. And happy to sit down with you.
Do we want to, I think, have an exec session and then come back to you for the next meeting?
I mean, that's fine.
Is that what everybody thinks?
Yeah. I welcome comments. You have my email, phone number. Please don't hesitate to ask
Exec at the
questions.
end.
Yeah.
Did you pass along all the information? that
Yeah, I think everybody has everything,
Okay.
so if not, we'll discuss it and
Got
go
it.
over everything.
Anyone have any questions on now? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie.
Okay, Jerry?
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, the monthly newsletter thing that I'm doing, the State of the Borough, is there. Just a couple headlines from it. You can read it, so I'm not gonna read the whole thing. But we had our final food truck roundup and farmers market this month. It was I think the whole year was great. We got a lot of people to come out, and I think it was a big success. Get-Go was in town last week. I don't know if anybody noticed. They filmed a commercial at our Get-Go. They said it was one of the newest and nicest ones they had, so they did a commercial, holiday-themed commercial about their fuel perks program. The cleanup day, I got a lot of feedback from that. It was a big success, and I wanted to thank Luke and everybody that participated in that. We had a couple news articles. The Get-Go commercial was in an article, which is attached. We also, the Trib ran a press release on the Verona History Club, the Historical Society, and it was really nice, and I included that in there. A couple things from around the borough. We're looking for additional part-time police officers, and we installed new security cameras one being on the Borough Building pointing to Railroad Park, and the other one is down at Riverbank Park. The Department of Public Works is going to continue to pick up leaves until at least December 1st, or until the majority of the leaves have fallen. So keep putting your leaves out. I talked to Mark, and we're working on a program to implement for the spring. It's too late now because winter's here pretty much, but to do some educating and enforcement of weeds and unsightly lots in the community. So he's working on that program on getting some information out to people, whether it's through the newsletter or the website, but we're gonna get information out, and then he is going to start citing people for overgrown weeds and unsightly lots. And then the last thing in here brings me to my next thing is everybody received a copy of the preliminary first draft budget. I have it, I'm just gonna go through a couple headlines. I apologize for it being printed so small, but you guys can go home and read through this and come up with your suggestions for the next meeting because we're early enough that we've got the time. So,
Jerry, is there any way we can get this electronically also?
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send it to you all electronically as well. So a couple just of the big topics. The very first line is our current year real estate taxes. I'm estimating $714,295. You'll see that's actually down from the budget from last year. I'm in the middle of discussions with Keystone, and they're doing some research. It seems like our collections have actually decreased percentage-wise since Berkheimer. So I'm a little bit concerned. They're researching to see if there's a couple larger accounts that are holding out or what is actually causing it. It seems from my calculation that Berkheimer was collecting about 95% and we're down to about 92%. So we're working on it, and that number there, that 714, is 95% because I'm expecting them to bring that number back up. Fortunately for us, Weiss Burkhart, who collects our delinquent tax, is very good. So they're on it, and we do collect a significant amount of that the following year, but that's why that number's gone down, so in case you have that question. As far as revenue, there's not a whole lot more that's changing. The other number that we'll probably talk about more next meeting, but just so you're aware of it, is on the second page. It's line item 361-400. It's sewer rental revenue. There's two pieces to that. The vast majority of that comes from Oakmont Water. That's the sewer fee, okay? It's projected to be $698,678. About $680,000 of that is from Oakmont Water, which goes right through the borough, and the vast majority of that number goes to Alcoasand. However, we do keep a percentage of that. The rest of that $18,000 comes from Penn Hills for the use of our lines coming from the hilltop. I think that the borough should discuss increasing that $18,000 that we bill to Penn Hills, especially considering the culverts that have been failing on Wildwood. We've spent a significant amount of money on that, and we have another bill coming once we start on another project. Our contract with Penn Hills does not include any maintenance costs. They will not pay us for anything. So I feel like that $18,000 needs to go up. So we can discuss that and figure out how we're gonna do that and discuss that with Craig. And the rest of that money, Alcoasand increases their rates every year, so we have to decide, we may have to increase our rates as the pass-through. We also have a lot of grants coming for sewer repair next year, but they all have significant local matches. And as you can see from the flooding, we have sewer issues here. So we may need to discuss increasing that number. So something to think about for the next meeting. I'm gonna call Diana Elise at Oakmont Water and actually go over with her the actual water consumption within the borough to see how we can budget that and how much we can increase it without being a burden. But that's something that I want to put on everybody's radar. The rest of the revenue is pretty much just similar to last year, so there's nothing really as a highlight. Anybody that's considered non-contract, I have in here at a 3% increase over last year. Anybody that is contract, we are currently under, as everybody knows, doing the contract negotiations, so the amounts that are in this budget are inclusive of the new contract that's being proposed. So that's the final numbers for that, as long as they accept the contracts. On page 4, actually, it's just more about the payroll, so that's just the 3% or the new contract amounts. The following page, on line item 410745, you'll see a $36,000 amount there. That is an amount to replace the Crown Victoria police car. We would sell that and purchase, I think we're figuring on another Explorer, a marked Explorer. A little bit further down, you'll see under 411740, major expenditures under the fire department, there's a $58,000 payment. That's our annual payment for the fire truck. And then on the second to last page, you'll see line item 430740, major expenditures under park or public works. That's typically where we put our paving, our sewer repair, and any other local matches or any other major expenses that we're gonna have. We have in there $150,000. That's where I feel like we need to increase that amount. I don't think that $150,000 is gonna be sufficient for the local matches that we have scheduled for next year and a significant, or a decent paving project. And I don't want to see us have to pave such a small part. We have some major projects that we're looking at. Matt and I are trying to figure out pricing on breaking up 2nd Street into 2 phases from Wildwood up to South, which is going to be a large amount of money. Even if we broke it into 2 phases, they're each $100,000 or more. Plus, we want to try to get at least 2 alleys done as well, so.
And 2nd Street.
That's what I said,
That's
2nd
reasonable.
Street.
That would have to go from Shannon Road up on 2nd Street. Wildwood
Right.
to Shannon Road
Right.
is Penn Hills.
Penn Hills, right.
And I am talking to Penn Hills about that also. They're gonna look into that.
To match our.
Well, no, to do their section, to maintain that, the island and what have you.
Yeah, our price goes from, yeah, you're right, from Shannon up to South. So breaking that into 2 pieces, we're expecting the first phase to be about 112. And I forget what street he said that went up to. And then from that point, the following year to South, we're anticipating being another 100. So, you know, the paving projects that we're looking at are not minor, and they desperately need done. And then on top of that, we have sewer, you know, and we're getting all these grants, and the grants are fantastic, but we can't forget that with all this money comes local matches. $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a piece, that stuff adds up. So we have to be prepared. We can't say no to the grants, but we have to also be prepared to come up with $50,000 to match it. So that's pretty much the highlights of this. Once I meet with Diana Elise regarding the sewer fees and all that kind of stuff, Matt and I went through a lot today, and it doesn't have to be a real significant increase, like $20 a quarter per household is all we're talking, and it would probably put about $60,000 into our budget. So it doesn't have to be anything that would be a large burden, but I think it's definitely something to discuss. So, any questions on the preliminary now? If not, I'll send out a digital copy of this, and we can talk all until the next meeting. If you get to me before the next meeting, I can make the adjustments and then have a new proposed budget for the next meeting. So, the way the schedule will be on this, if all goes well, and everybody agrees and we don't fight too much, so today's the 30th, we would have another proposed we would have a further discussion and some adjustments for the November 13th. My goal is to have a final budget for the November 27th workshop so that we could vote then to advertise and have a final vote on December 11th. That would avoid a separate budget meeting, as long as there's nothing that we can't agree on. I think it should be. I think we're early enough that we can definitely pull that off. So, anything?
Well, we would have to review both contracts also before
Right.
13th.
Yeah, Craig is working on those as we speak, so we should have that perfectly done too.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah.
Are you gonna talk about the...
Oh, the minutes. Everybody has a copy of the minutes from the business meeting. If there's any, I don't know if there's any changes, if you guys took a second to go through them.
Yeah, I have a few, just at first glance. I don't know if you want me to say
Do you want to just go over it later and then we can vote on them at the next one?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I don't think it's anything major,
Or
but,
do you want to just vote pending your changes?
yeah. And what is the process, like, last meeting, we had the minutes from the meeting before.
I'm trying to get them to you for every meeting. That was
Right,
why.
but no, I'm just asking, we said we were going to approve them pending the changes.
Mm-hmm.
So then, when do we get them with the changes incorporated?
The changes have been incorporated. I just have to get you a copy of them. I'll email them to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, but
You wanna-
there are some things, I can call you tomorrow.
That's fine. Do you want to just hold off? We'll go over them, we'll change it, and then we'll vote at the regular meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Mayor?
Yeah, a couple things. Cripsfield Lighting, would they ever find out about those other two pole lights that aren't working?
They're gonna have, I talked to the electrician about 3 days ago. They're gonna have the lights done, they told me, by the end of this week. The conduit, I think I told everyone, the conduit either got water got into it, or dirt got into it, and when they try to suck that string through so they can pull the wires through, it's not coming through. So they're gonna have to dig a hole, cut the conduit, figure out what's in it, get it cleared out, and then they can pull the cables through.
Yeah, because I've been noticing the soccer team, they're using the lights, and it's kind of dark down at that end.
Yeah. I'm trying to get them moving. Another problem is it's been so muddy up there, for them to
Yeah,
get
rain
any
and
type of
everything.
equipment in there, it's gonna destroy everything. At this point in time, though, it's either do or die. It's the end of the season. Keep them against the fence. If we can keep them against the fence, they're gonna rot it up a little bit, but hopefully not very minimal.
Once
And
it
we'll just
starts
have to
getting
deal
cold,
with it.
that ground will get solid too.
Yeah.
The other thing is, the Doughboy Stone is in. The total was like $600 and some dollars. And that is our cost, Recupero Landscaping cost that the borough paid, that we gave them our price, but the borough paid it. We, you know, the borough paid it directly. And I had told AJ, we talked, and I said, you know, as long as we get it done before Memorial Day. I mean, there's no rush right now. You know, they're busy with leaves and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I want them to take their time on that, make sure nothing
yeah.
happens to that.
They're nice too. I don't know if you've seen them.
I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
No.
They're carved on the sides and they'll be stepped up. Halloween is tomorrow, 6 to 8. Hopefully the rain holds out. It's supposed to rain. Hopefully it doesn't. There's no plans to reschedule Halloween. It rained one other time several years ago, and I asked Oakmont and Penn Hills, and they weren't going to reschedule it, so what it is tomorrow. And the other thing is the land bank meeting. Amanda and Ann, they couldn't make this meeting, and they can't make next month's either, and they asked if they could come in December. And December, you know, the way December is, it's a busy month, and so we put it off till the first of the January meeting.
January meeting or workshop meeting?
Workshop meeting, yeah. And I had a mayor's meeting last Wednesday, Verona, Oakmont, Penn Hills, Plum, and Monroeville, and we discussed that, and the other communities are going to come. They're going to send a rep if they can't make it, the mayors. Monroeville's already in this program, and Plum Borough's very interested, and we spoke with Oakmont, and I spoke with the mayor, and Penn Hills also. So, and Monroeville's going to send a representative also to explain how it's working in their town. And it was said something about a HUD, and I had called Amanda and asked her, and she said that not necessarily, and she says, make sure you ask that question at the meeting. And and I asked the mayor of Monroeville, and he said, absolutely not. He says that they don't have no, their program isn't a HUD program that they're using, the landmark. So, we'll have that in January, and I need a exec session on police personnel. That's it.
Thank you. Just a few things here. I attended the chamber meeting this month, and Kevin Ewing, they're very appreciative of the parking spaces that were put on the Allegheny River Boulevard, but asked if maybe they could be put like all around the work area, so like parking spaces back here on East Railroad and down in front of the post office and so on and so forth. I mean, if not now, maybe in the spring.
Yeah, probably, we can do it, we can definitely do it, but it'd probably be better if we can hold off till the spring.
Hold off till the spring.
Like David said, with the leaves and snow's gonna be started.
Well, those are tape anyways, aren't they, Don? Or are they
Yeah.
painted on? Did we use the tape or they paint them?
I'm pretty
You
sure
know,
they,
you gotta heat the ground up.
pretty sure they did the tape.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they taped.
So the weather will have to be warm.
Yeah.
for
And if it
the-
ends up being, it has to be an emergency, they can paint it. But I think it's best if we hold off.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good idea.
Along with the park, the lines being painted and such, out here it's like really faded out, like the parking spaces.
lot.
Yeah, in the parking lot, but I know that we want to coat them also. And, if that could be put on the agenda, their agenda for sometime, I don't know, spring, whenever.
Every time we talk about this, it's not that time of year to do it. When is the time of year?
Usually they do it in the fall,
In the fall?
yeah.
Is it too
To
late?
coat the
To seal the
road,
lots,
to seal the
the
lots, yeah.
Is it too late?
I don't know, it may be, I'm not
I'll
sure,
make a
because
call.
usually they do it in August, September. You could start calling around to see.
And the other area are the parking lots at either end here. Now, just yesterday this happened. I came straight down Center Avenue, I had cans for the Boy Scouts. So I shoot straight across, right into the parking lot down here, and where there's basically 3 rows for parking down there. There's the row that runs parallel with East Railroad, the row that runs parallel with the railroad, and then that middle row. Well, I was shooting straight back to go between the railroad places and the middle rows. And there was a car there that the back places are slanted to the left. And there was a car parked between 2, like across the 2, like he was like, not even perpendicular, he was like intersecting the two. There was a guy parked in the middle rows, which were slanted to the right, but he was parked so that he was cutting off this guy up here. Now, the strange thing is I backed my car up and I pulled around to the aluminum can bin, and I get out to throw them in, and these 2 cars took off like crazy out of that parking lot. So like, I don't know what the heck was going on down there. I don't know if I interrupted something in the back seat or if there was something else going on behind the dumpsters down there. Like, I don't know. So I know we have the cameras facing Railroad Park here, but I'm wondering what's going on down at that end. okay? I mean, and it just threw up a red flag for me. I thought it was very bizarre. It was suspicious behavior, if anything. I personally didn't see anybody in these cars until they took off. And it was like, where did they come from? So I wanted to bring that to your attention, David, and seeing if we can get something done there to, especially if Interbrew's going to be opening up and using that lot down there. I mean,
Was this in the night or during the
oh,
day?
this was in the afternoon. In addition to those concerns, I was down here this week also, and I went over to Mechanics Coffee, and thought, well, I'm this close, I'm going to come over and check on Marcia and Mark. And East Railroad Avenue is like a speedway. If you're not real careful, you're going to get knocked off. And I have issues with that because we talk about two parks in this community all the time, Riverbank and Cribs, but this park out here is also a park. And it's used for farmers market and community day and other things, food trucks and whatever. And cars speed through here. And I don't understand why Oakmont can paint white lines across their street on Allegheny Avenue and put up those little marquees that say pedestrian right-of-way. Like, why can't we do that here?
It'll take up parking spots because you have to have so many, if you put the lines down, and on each side of the street, you have to have from the line so many feet on each side away in order to put that up, because if you put the two lines down, you can't have a car pull up right on the line. It's got to be sort of like a fire hydrant, so many feet away. I don't know if, I can't remember if it was 10 foot or what. It might be 10 foot away on each side, on all four sides. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do, because I was at Jerry's place business yesterday, and he has a walkway coming right out from that section there. And there
It may even be 5 foot, but I know you have to have a yellow line on each side. I mean, it can be done, but, it should be done over by the post office also.
Well, I think something needs to be done. I really do think, I mean, people are coming in here to pay their tickets, to get permit forms, to see Marcia, to drop things off at the office, to check with Mark Stanton, and they might be parking down by Mechanics and getting a cup of coffee and coming over here, and they're going to get knocked off, especially when there's something going on in this park over here. So I don't care where the lines go. I think that, and I think we need to invest in those little marquees that say pedestrians right away. Because I know for a fact, I stop in Oakmont, if I see somebody on that corner or on the sidewalk waiting to cross over, like, I will stop and let them go across.
What's it say at the very bottom?
State law.
It's the law.
Yeah, so if it's the law, I think maybe Verona needs to participate too. When are the leaves being picked up? My neighbor was kind of like blowing them into the middle of 3rd Street today, and we had like a nice line going right down the middle of 3rd Street.
Heck, the way they're falling, it might be middle of December.
I mean, are they picked up on certain days?
Yeah,
or-
they follow the street.
They go with the
clean.
street sweeping schedule. I'll talk with AJ in the morning and see if that's another thing that's gonna have to be part of our budget too, or make sure he's got that leaf vac going and everything's all right with it. And I can give you a call and let you know. Hopefully next Tuesday they'll be started.
Okay, all right.
But that's
very good.
usually what they do. They follow the street sweeping schedule.
Okay, very good. I knew that, but today was Tuesday and nobody did it, so I was wondering.
Oh, well, they did it where I live.
Okay, well, they
So
didn't do it where I did it.
Yeah, they started.
They had the leaf vac on the truck? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. All right, then.
So they should be up tomorrow then.
So, that's everything except for the exec session to discuss Carrie, and we'll discuss that and come back next week.
I just wanted to add too, I'm working on a pedestrian study over in Oakmont, get some grant funding for signage like that, so I'd be happy to look into it. I'm kind of like looking into it on my end, and I'd be happy to give you information on that, because I think, I believe that you do need some, and I think it's good. I think there should be some.
I think it's we've had people hit on the boulevard, so.
We got a grant to do a feasibility study over there, and we spent a little bit of money on that to do that. And I put together a committee of people to work with that. But we're moving forward with it. So let me see if we can get some grant money for the police department, streets department, so you can have that.
Okay, would you count me in on that too, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you. And that is everything. So, Mr. Conti.
Thank you. We talked about the lights at Cribs, the lights for the new pavilion. I'm gonna get together with Janet. There's a website that they can be ordered from. We're gonna go with the good lights. They're a little bit expensive, but they supposedly last a long time. And I'll have AJ order them, and when they come in, he'll put them up. We have to decide, do we want them just right across the top, like they were before? Do you want them across and then up either side, or do you want them coming down the posts? I need to know, so we know how many to get, because they're pretty expensive for sections of the lighting.
I think Janet should, consider that, okay?
Look into that further and see what we.
Yeah, just so we know how many to get. And.
Like the Griswolds?
Like the Griswolds.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, all over.
Yeah, it's part of that lighting.
Yeah.
They've been really using that for the music all, like football, it was great.
Yeah, I've been on our electrician. He's starting to get upset with me because I'm on him so much, but we need the lights done.
The school district actually wants to start using it for events as well. And I think it would be great to have the school district use it for events and get people up to Cribs, so.
I was approached maybe in the near future about even the possibility of having football games up there.
Yes, and then I think that the athletic director was looking into see if there's actually regulation.
Yeah, there might, for it to work, there's some things that will probably have to be changed, but it's always a possibility.
Yeah, so it's good to have foot traffic up there.
Yeah, that's all I have.
And I just want to say, I don't know if it was the street department that decorated the pavilion.
Yes.
It looks very nice. I got lots of people told me about it.
And I'm surprised all the
Simple but
pumpkins
nice.
stayed there. Nobody smashed them all over the road. I
Yeah.
can't believe it.
Deer ate holes in them.
Deer were eating the corn on the corn.
Thanks, Mike. You had to say it.
I'm going out right now.
The railroad meeting.
Let's flood it.
Okay. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one thing I forgot to mention, Carrie set up a meeting with the railroad, and Sandy and I and Carrie met with two gentlemen from the railroad last week, and they're working to get that property cleaned out. We're working with PJ Greco, actually owns the equipment that's still there, and they're hopefully going to be getting rid of it. The conversation with the gentleman from the railroad was very interesting. He is a very blunt man. Doesn't mess around. We did not meet with Ross Peterson. We met with some people that work for him. And,
His safety first.
yeah. And, there were questions that we asked, and his answer was, no, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
No, not
Yep.
gonna happen. But they were very reasonable. They said they want to be good neighbors. They're gonna do what they have to do to get the property cleaned out, and they're not gonna develop it until they have somebody to go in there. So until they have a tenant, they'll build it to suit that tenant and not a day earlier. And there's really nothing we can do about it. But they were very good, and if we have concerns, they're willing to help, they're willing to work with us. It was a very, very good, productive meeting. So I just want to let everybody know we had that meeting, so.
What property are you talking about exactly?
The railroad property behind where the old scrapyard used to be,
Where the viaduct is.
under the viaduct.
Suggestions, if you go through that, we can have a joint agreement with that.
They're looking for a tenant right now? Is that
Yeah, they bought the property,
the railroad?
the
Yes.
railroad bought
There's
it.
nothing on it right now.
6.5 acres.
When did
They
they
bought
buy
it.
it?
They bought it off of the gentleman that owned the scrapyard,
Burrows.
Burrows.
Brothers.
A couple years ago. They condemned it. So the railroad has federal authority to condemn a property over and above any municipality around or state. So we tried to condemn it. The railroad beat us to it, and there was nothing we could do about it. So they bought it for about $700,000. And they're looking to develop it into a train to truck depot. And they,
I have some feelings for her.
No, but
I
know.
and they're not concerned about them, believe me, they're not.
One of the things I suggested was a park. He says it's not gonna happen. Another thing I suggested was like maybe the development from Edgewater could like come this way, give Verona some revenue. He says it's not gonna happen.
Well, I think there also there could be, you guys have control of that, however.
No.
I have an issue with all the trucks coming through the road wear and tear. That's what
So I
I,
actually talked to him about that.
Easements to certain park development, trails, et cetera.
So
We
Hey,
can
look.
talk about that.
look,
Yeah, we actually,
you dropped their phone. You dropped your phone.
Oh, I did, okay.
we talked to him about the truck, the wear and tear on our roads with trucks, large trucks. One of the tenants that recently looked at it, which thankfully did not, was it sand fracking?
It was cracks.
It was frac sand, so they didn't want it.
That's not gonna happen.
They didn't want it. But my concern was the wear and tear on the street. They said that we could have a stipulation where we make them repave Center Avenue to build it up to whatever they put in there. So we can have those stipulations.
Other stipulations.
Well, we'll see.
Is that brown zone? Is that soil?
Brownfield.
Yeah, is that soil? Like, is that soil?
Contaminated?
No.
Okay.
It was under a junk drive.
Yeah, and then there's,
Supposedly, no.
Okay,
Okay.
We know
all right,
this.
yeah.
okay.
I have one more thing. That lot that the Eagles owns is for sale.
Great.
Okay, thanks.
You wanna buy it?
Buy it.
No.
What do they want for it?
We're looking for parking all the time.
Exactly.
I thought
I
maybe they'll
thought
look
they
into
said, I think somebody talked to Mark that they actually have an offer on it.
Okay.
They what?
Okay. They have an offer on
They have
it.
an offer. I can talk to them.
Somebody talked with Mark.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Carpenter.
Hi. Okay, on your desk, you guys should be finding a lot of ordinances printed out. I'm gonna just start with the fireworks ordinance. And what it says is not having, available to the general public during the hours of 11 PM through 7 AM. I don't know. What we're looking to do is go through all these and give the final go-ahead to advertising as we made the motion from the last meeting. I don't know, to me, 7:01 AM is a little early to start blasting off fireworks. So we could talk about this more unless people have any other ideas about it. But right now, as I'm reading this, I think it just says,
It's prohibiting the use from 11 PM through 7 AM.
right. So it's 7:01 AM, someone can start blasting off fireworks, it seems awfully early.
Make it 9 o'clock.
So we don't have to, this doesn't have to be the final version. If people have other suggestions about different times, they'd like to have that be.
Why would you do it during the day? That's a nighttime.
Well, they have those ones that don't make any patterns or colors, they just make noise.
It's kind of early in the morning.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we might want to talk about making that later in the morning, in the daytime, 11 to 11 or something.
Yeah, just make
We
the
want to,
decision.
let's just change it till 9. Can we just make a motion to change it till 9 AM?
Makes everybody's day off that day, they relax, and like you said, and I agree with you, 7 o'clock is early.
I'll make a motion that
I like
the
her
ordinance.
suggestion, 11 to 11.
11 to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
People
good.
have their coffee till 10, 15?
I don't know
Hey,
about
the people
11.
on North Avenue didn't
11's
like
a
the
little
fire
late.
whistle going off. They're not going to want the fireworks going off.
I'd say, I'd go 9 or maybe 10 at the latest.
Hey, Nancy.
Yeah, I'm not making a motion.
What is
I
the
rescind
state
it.
law as far as time, do you know? That we're changing it, or is it?
There is no time restraint to the state.
Oh, there isn't, okay.
We can make our own, each community can make their own.
And actually, we're not even sure we can. We are, and we're figuring this, because the state sometimes says you can't do this stuff. We're doing it, and if they take us to court, then we'll fix it. We're doing it to see if we're testing them.
All right, I think we should discuss.
Okay,
Okay,
So-
so that's the firework.
okay.
I wanted to also let you guys know that there will not be a drone ordinance because what Jerry just mentioned, the state has some laws that supersede anything that a municipality can do. And in the drone law, it states that municipalities are not allowed to have ordinances about drones. So,
Okay, well, I have problems with that. I'm not gonna bring it up right now, but I have problems with that.
okay.
I'll bring it when we go to
Okay, because I don't know what we could do about it, but, okay,
no, I know what I'm gonna do.
okay.
Leave that shotgun in your house.
All right, so, there is the one that's the 20-minute parking spot for 483 Center Avenue, as per your request, Dave, about Patsy's.
Patsy's Market, yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is pretty standard stuff. It just says from the hours of 8 AM to 6 PM, no one can park there for longer than 20 minutes.
Is he open till 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Now, I have one question. He's not open on Sundays, is he?
No.
So should we make this except Sundays?
yes.
Well, we could get a sign except Sundays, you know, at the
Yeah, but
bottom. Oh, on the ordinance.
On the ordinance?
Okay,
Yeah, that's a good thought.
20-minute except Sunday. Yeah, and I'll, relay all this information to Craig and he can change it.
Because otherwise, it will be,
Right. Yeah,
it's
that's a
not
good
open,
thought,
and then
yeah.
we're gonna end up with a problem, I think.
Yes, good point, thank
good.
you. Also, I think at the last meeting, there was discussion about extending the handicap parking area.
Yes.
Along Heron Avenue, there's one in there about that. Basically, it just says, it's okay to have the sign and to extend it, and all of the things that happen if you park there and you're not supposed to. Any questions or comments about that particular ordinance? All right, that goes in the good pile. There's also an ordinance that I think Craig mentioned last meeting about adopting the 2015 International Maintenance Code, or IPMC.
Yes.
So we're just gonna use the 2015 regulations instead of the 2009. And that's basically what this ordinance is about, as I understand it. Is there anything more about that you know, Jerry, or anybody?
We have to.
Yeah, it's a have to
We're
kind
being
of
mandated to
thing.
switch to the 15.
Yeah, so this one's pretty standard stuff that, we just have to do. And speaking of have to, this is the stormwater ordinance, so I didn't make copies for everybody. And this is another type of thing that we have to do, and this is, has to be done by December 1st. So this is definitely gonna be getting advertised soon, and we're trying to throw in as many other ones to advertise simultaneously as we can. So we have 2 so far, handicap on Heron and international property. And still the vacant property ordinance, I guess that's a little more complicated, and it's taking some time for Craig to get with Matt about some stuff with that. And he's also working on the final, the final form of the ordinance for the vacation of James Street for the Dory property. So those you don't have yet, because I don't have them yet. And the last one is the brewery ordinance. And this is a very revised version from the original one that we saw in July. So, questions or comments on the brew pub ordinance? No questions or comments, or are you guys still reading?
Do we have to okay it now?
No, we don't have to okay it at all.
Okay.
In fact, there's going to be time for this to get advertised at some point. Honestly, I am still a little confused about the difference between conditional use and permitted use, and was kind of wanting to have it be a permitted use instead of a conditional use. So that would be my only comment about this. I will say that the parking was discussed at the ordinance meeting on last week, Monday, the 22nd, and we came to a compromise about the parking. So we made one space per 200 square feet of the total area of the building. So that incorporates the employees and, you know, it just took care of all the other parking concerns. That's how we came up with a compromise for that. So there's still time to do some discussion on the brew pub ordinance, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Nancy?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Did we talk about permit parking on 2nd Street ordinance-wise?
Permit parking on 2nd Street.
I forgot to bring this up at the October meeting. The chief had said that we were challenged in court. We don't have an ordinance on there. I have no idea where these ordinances are going. I was on council when we put that in. But I guess we're gonna have to make an ordinance on that. Pass that down,
You mean from
please.
Church Street down?
Yeah.
You have the permit?
Yeah. I mean, this was before everybody here
Yeah,
was on. And apparently, nobody could find the ordinance.
There's permit parking in the center as well, correct?
Yeah, and over by the cannon.
So, I
That was
mean-
all incorporated at the same time.
Right. I
Oh, was you on
remember that. I remember that,
You
yeah.
were on one.
Oh, were you? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was just
There was an
before
ordinance.
2010.
Well, maybe Mark has Mark been notified about this? Can he find it?
Apparently, they looked. They can't find it.
Oh.
Unless Craig, well,
Well, we have
that's
to
coming
talk to
from
Craig.
Craig.
Yeah, we
That
have
was
to
sent
talk
to
to
Craig
Craig.
also. He should have a copy at his office, but apparently they don't.
I remember doing that.
Yeah.
You remember doing the ordinance on permit parking? on
Then-
Yeah, because the car shop down at the bottom was parking all those cars there,
Right.
and we decided we were gonna make it permit parking. If they were gonna leave all those cars that don't run sitting on the hillside.
Right.
Then we wanted them to pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, apparently we didn't get an ordinance on it because they can't find it. And somebody challenged us. I don't know who it was, and it was thrown out.
Can you check with Craig and
Yes.
Mark?
I have it right here in my notes. I will. Do you need this back?
No.
Okay. All right, we'll do that. Okay, let's see here. So I wanted to also bring us back to Brian at Outboard Haven. I talked to Jerry earlier today. You guys asked me to talk to him about whether he'd be willing to be our Verona local dock inspector and repair person if need be. And he agreed to do that once a month inspection for $50 per inspection, and then any repairs would be on a case-by-case basis. I'm suggesting that he start that in 2 days, whatever, November, and just do once a month, go down, take a look. I think $50 is a fair amount for his time.
What do we have, just the one?
Just the one that I'm,
Yeah.
the one down near
We just have the
Steel
one.
City Rowing.
Steel
Yeah.
City Rowing has one, but we have our
Right,
own.
right. And, yeah.
Would he have to do it monthly? I mean, or would this be something that,
Well, especially in the winter,
Maybe
when
over
you
the
have
winter,
ice
every
flows
month.
going down.
But I don't think over the summer.
High water. and-
Well, here's the thing, what happens in the summer with the high water and all the crap that comes down is it gets stuck, you know, we may have to pay him a little more in the summer to take the debris away, because the debris, if it builds up, can then push your dock down the river, so.
Yeah.
And then in the winter, if there's very cold and the ice forms and then it breaks away and it hits the dock, I think once a month is reasonable, and if he tells me he doesn't think it needs it, you know, he'll tell me. And then we can back it
Yeah, I
up to
think-
every other month.
I trust him enough, just whatever he suggests.
Yeah.
He's not gonna do anything he shouldn't be doing.
Right, so
Yeah,
I
it's
think,
fine. It's
yeah,
not gonna be like a contract that we're, paying him, you know what I mean? If we decide that it's too much money at some point, we can always discuss it, but I don't think it's a bad idea. That way we take control back of it.
which should the clearance go through the office here, though, as opposed to any one of us?
For what?
Well, like Nancy said, that if he'll give her the okay. I mean,
Well,
if
he-
he's gonna be doing this work for the borough, should it go through
Well,
the,
he's
you
gonna
mean
send
the
it-
at the
office.
end of each inspection?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna have to send us something.
send a clearance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to say he inspected
He was
it,
there
it's
and-
okay, or
Yeah.
he inspected
Right.
it, and it's a
With his
little.
bill.
Yeah.
Tell him just write something up with his bill. When he sends us a bill. just to-
Okay.
Clearance,
Clearing it, there's, November, he inspected it, it's all good. Everything's great. Sign off.
But we are
Well,
not.
we should have something in writing from him, because if something happens later on, we can say that it was inspected, because if it goes to court, we would have the documentation here.
that's what I mean. I mean,
Yeah.
instead of just giving the verbal, it's okay, or it's not
Right.
okay.
Right. It should
Okay.
be in writing and
Yeah.
monthly or whatever, that it's okay, otherwise, there's no
There-
actual
We have nothing
documentation.
to fall back on.
Okay, I'll talk to him about that. And the other
That should be
thing,
a
though, is
motion.
I'm just thinking, like,
Yeah.
what if he goes down on November 3rd and sees the docks and they're fine, and on November 17th,
Well, he's only going once a
something
month,
happens, and, yeah, so,
so he checks it November 3rd or whatever. He wouldn't be checking it again until December, right?
right.
Well, here's the thing, he's in that business. Okay? If something happens that he would take a look, I think we need to look at it from this perspective. If something would happen at his own docks that he would think would be hazardous, I think that he should then look there again.
Yeah.
And we would pay him for the $50.
Right.
Again, if it was necessary. But otherwise, once a month is sufficient.
Right.
All right.
Are you
And I
good with that
think it
motion?
has to
Yeah.
be
So-
put to him
yeah.
that way, that
Yeah.
if something drastically happens, that he would do
Major
something in his own
flood or
docks,
something.
take a look there, and we would pay him again. I think that
I agree.
that's being reasonable to him.
So I'll make the motion that we have Brian Ilar be our Verona dock consultant, doing an inspection, a minimum of once a month for $50 each time.
I'll second.
Okay, motion on the floor by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Conti. Are there any questions?
Are we gonna put in there
Oh, and
for additional, additional damages or necessary emergencies, that he would be paid again?
well, I just said for minimum of once a month.
I know, but I think you need to put it in there that,
For repairs?
for
No, just to look at it.
just to look if something happens, say the flood waters come up. like she said, 10 days later, should he then go down again and inspect them to make sure that they are sufficient and no problems? So I think in an emergency, you have to put in there for an emergency situation, an additional inspection should be done.
Okay, as he deems necessary.
And/or council or him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So either one, we might say, hey, you know what, we'll feel better if go take a look at it again.
And any repairs he feels are needed would be dealt with on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the motion.
Okay. So motion on the floor made by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Conti. Are there any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That is in writing, right?
Motion passed.
Yeah,
That is in writing.
Yes.
We said that, okay.
yeah, it'll be on the minutes. Okay, that's done, this is done. I just wanted to just ask one other thing about the leaf pickup, Dom, about, I know it says in your thing until December 1st, but if we just have a couple flurries, can they keep going? Because we have a heck of a lot of leaves till the end of December.
If they're still coming down and they don't have to switch the truck over for snow, yeah, they'll keep picking up leaves. If they have to take the leaf vac off and put the salt spreader in the truck, that's a few hour job to get that salt spreader back out and get the leaf vac back on. If it looks like we're not gonna have snow for a while, then that's possible they can do that. But once it starts snowing, it's gonna be hard to make them go back and forth.
So that truck is used for the salt.
Salt and plowing, the big truck.
All the trucks are.
Yeah, they use those they use all three of them for plowing
Right.
and salting.
Okay. I was just hoping that, because in the last couple of years, there were a few flurries, and they scrambled and changed all of them, and then nothing really laid down, that maybe we could get away with the other two trucks until it really snows.
The problem is then one truck is not hitting someone's streets, and that's gonna be bad.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll try.
And I'd just like to end with thanking Patty Tuminello for all of the work that she's done for the borough. I think that she's backed away from all of that. I just wanted to have it on record to thank her for all of her contributions to the community. And I wanted to also mention about the passing of Mary Ann Brer on October 20th. And maybe ask that we have a moment of silence for Mary Ann. Because she was a very integral part of our community. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. McCarthy.
The police contract is, Craig's, he's getting it done. I'll get it to everybody and to the police department. We think it should be passed, no problems, but I want to see it in writing before we present it to everybody, what we have. And the Riverview's Children's Center sent a letter here. It says, "Dear Verona Police Department, we just want to say thank you. We are the Riverview Children's Center Pre-K Red class. That means we are either 4 or 5 years old. A few of us just wanted to say thank you for being great community helpers. We just learned about community helpers. We recently took a walk around the neighborhood and saw the station, some cars, and even some officers. Thank you for keeping us safe from Tegan. Thank you for keeping our cars safe, Mariah. And special thanks to Chief McLemore. Thanks for letting us see your police car, Seth. Thank you for letting us see your police lights, Rex. Thank you for everything that you do. Sincerely, pre-K red, and it's a picture with the police car and the kids and the chief and the kids, and their handprints and their names all around it. So, good job for the police department. That's it.
Thanks, Pat. Mr. Suchovich.
Mr. Cannon went over the budget. Everything else is good. That's all I have.
Ray, just a question.
Yes.
At the chamber, I had texted you about the use of the fire hall for their community.
He hasn't got back to me. I'm sure it will work. He wasn't at cleanup Monday night. He had to work.
Okay.
I'll text him after, see if he's working or what.
Okay, thank you.
If not, I'll get it back to you in a day or two.
All right, thanks. Mrs. Alaba.
Thank you. On October 15th, there was a group of us from the rec board that took a pretty good walk to all three parks. We started up at Cribs. We had our boots on. It was rainy with our umbrellas, but we...
And dark?
And dark. We started out light, I think. We had our flashlights. Dave had made a pretty good inventory and maintenance schedule with all the between all the different fields and parks. As we ventured down here to the railroad park here, there was a group of about 5 young deer that were nibbling on all the corn stalks. Scared across the way. And ventured on down to Railroad Park, and there is a list of things that we did submit for our budget, for the parks, that hopefully we can do the upgrades and things like that. So that's about it. We did talk about the lighting for the pavilion, and we'll see how we want to decorate it, and we'll get back with you and AJ, and so we can order it and have it ready for the holiday, for Christmas. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mrs. Provenza.
Thank you. The newsletter was very late this month, and I'm going to apologize for Rogers and DeTurk, but they had a major contract, and that took precedence over our newsletter. So I'm sorry it was late. It's finally out. I actually picked it up today. Probably everybody will have it in the mail tomorrow, so I extend apologies. It wasn't my fault, but I'm apologizing for them, because we're never that late. Usually first week, we have it maybe no later than the 8th, 10th, but they just had a big contract and they could not get to it. So I'm very sorry, but it was very well done. I brought some copies in this evening. I wanted Attorney Craig Alexander to take one back to his office, because he advertises in there, and also our engineer, Matt Pitch, so he can take one. And if you want them, I've already put them out into the vestibule. They're out there. So, and if you get one in the mail, please share the one you're taking tonight. And I thank you all very much. Thanks,
Thank you.
Sandy.
When's the next newsletter deadline for articles?
This one would be October, November, December. So the next one would be January.
So you'd probably need the articles by December?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, Sandy. I just want to mention, the next rec board meeting is going to be Monday, November
5th.
5th, because of Election Day, won't be on Tuesday, will be at 7 o'clock.
Very good, thank you. Anything from Allegheny League of Municipalities or TCC?
I have something from ALOM.
Okay.
There was a Women in Leadership gathering that was hosted by ALOM a couple Fridays ago that I went to. I wouldn't say that there's anything major to report from there, except that it was an opportunity to network with other municipalities around town. And I was able to attend that.
Thank you.
I would have gone, Sandy, but I was actually out of town. I was out of state. So sorry, I wasn't.
You don't have to apologize.
Well, that's why you have alternates.
That's right.
Yeah.
COG meeting this month, nothing really newsworthy. Dr. Carpenter did come. I can't attend the one in November because they went and changed the date, and unbeknownst, and I have a conflict of interest, so Dr. Carpenter is going to go in my place. And council will now hear comments from the public on public-related items. Please be sure that you signed in at the sign-in. Come to the podium, clearly state your name and address.
Luke Maddox, 234 Penn Street. I just wanted to thank everyone who helped out with the litter cleanup. We did pick up a few new volunteers from the new community group, so that was helpful. And I want to recognize my wife, Kathy, because she does as much as I do. My name's associated with it, but she does.
Thanks. Yeah. Thank you. That was, you made her blush.
Tell your wife, look over here.
Thank you, wife.
That was nice, Luke. Okay.
Good evening, Dave Matlin, 722 Bruno.
Or not.
Depends on.
Yeah. We're not French.
He's French, and that's why we named after.
It's been brewed on 58 years as far as I know.
Anyway, I wanted to echo Sandy's comments earlier about the crossing, sidewalk crossing on Railroad here. I think that's a great point. I think I do see people speeding through, and I think it's, a problem not just there, but another place like walking to Giant Eagle down
Jones Street. There's only a sidewalk on one side of the street, so if you're coming from the post office, you have to cross and then cross again to get to Giant Eagle. So something that came to mind is a lot of our communities are doing is what's called a complete streets policy, where you could adopt this as like a framework for any projects going forward. Any, if you're upgrading sidewalks, upgrading streets, it's just an idea that you're gonna make it safe for all road users, so motorists, pedestrians, cyclists. So that's something, that could be part of, long-range planning or future projects to help make it. I think if it's more, I think it's very walkable as it is, so to make it safer for people to walk is a really good idea. The other thing I just wanted to ask, I think I heard with the brew pub ordinance, Nancy, that you said it was going to be a conditional use?
That's what it says right now, yeah.
And that, so I was just curious if there would be any more consideration about changing that. Something that I know myself and Mike and others mentioned at the August meeting, is that I think restaurants and taverns are considered permitted uses. And a lot of other communities that have successful brew pubs also allow them as permitted uses in their business district. And I think that would really help promote those businesses to come here. I know that they're looking to, there's other towns that are begging for breweries to come because they know that it'll help boost the business district. So I just hope that can be taken into consideration for if any changes can be made. And also, will that be made available to the public, the revisions?
Yeah, once it's advertised, once they have a final copy, that's...
Okay.
And we've approved it.
I'm sorry?
We need to approve it.
Okay, so once you approve it, then it'll be advertised. Okay.
Once they approve it for advertising.
Okay.
And then there'll be a time for
That would be it possibly at the next meeting, or?
As soon as they make a decision.
Hopefully by the next meeting.
Okay.
We'll see. We got to talk to Craig to make
Because I think it passed the zoning board by being a conditional use. That's how it...
It was an accessory use.
Accessory use, okay. So I don't know if that has anything to do.
Brewing is an accessory use to a tavern is the way it passed the zoning hearing board. Meaning, it's...
That's the way the ordinance amendment?
No, that's the zoning. So that's how they were able to permit the zoning, but that's kind of two different things right now. So the ordinance is saying that it's a conditional use, which basically means that they can I guess it would be a case-by-case basis that they would be able to add conditions to it before allowing it in. And it's still being discussed, I guess.
Yeah, it seems like it would be, putting conditional on it would make it a little bit more difficult for those businesses to, open up. Permitted would make it a little bit easier.
I think that when we're here at the next meeting with Craig, that maybe he could further explain, like what would be a condition that would actually come up for a brew pub other than what we've already passed. Because I tried to get some clarification from him in the last few days about the difference between the two, and he said a conditional use is a permitted use, but then if something comes up like they don't like the lighting or something, the borough can say something to them. But it's a very interesting distinction that I would like to hear more from Craig about it. So let's talk about it more in December when Craig is here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Chris McBride from North Avenue. Hi, everybody.
What's your address?
439. We're selling a bunch of houses. There are a bunch of houses for sale on my block right now, and we're always back to the same problem with parking. We have residents who are not kind to the newcomers at all, and I was wondering if you could get those lines put on the street.
Yeah, we're gonna do these lines down here, and I'll make sure that those get done the same time that they do those lines.
Because I've witnessed some very unpleasant exchanges between residents, and I don't want that to cloud the view of the
Of Verona, yeah.
Also, we'd like to put out luminary, either Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve to remain alike, and I don't know if we're allowed to do that, the candle and the paper bag. Because the kids want to do fundraisers to make t-shirts for Verona, so I just want to make sure they wouldn't be put out if we put them out.
Church illuminators? Does them, yeah.
We put them out, I grew up in Edgewood, and they put them out on that side of the street.
I do them every year.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that.
For years here.
Unless it be so big that they catch a tree on fire.
No, they're small.
No, I can't see there being a problem with that.
That'd be great, because I'm sure the kids would love it, and makes our neighbors like each other more here. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hi.
Jessica Barone, 722 Bruno Street. I'm sorry, I'm going to pronounce it that way because we took a lot of
Because you're
French
French.
classes and the man is French, so I think we're all just going to have to agree to disagree on that.
Bruno.
We're gonna have to say no to Avenue.
I'm also part French, so that kind of goes into it. Anyway, it was a really great cleanup that we had a couple of weeks ago. Just thank you again for helping to organize that. The students that came out were just really good kids. I mean, sometimes you think about like these young millennials and they kind of get a bad rap, but these were just really, really good kids, and they worked hard, and I really appreciated, all the effort they put into it. I worked with a group that was cleaning up, pulling up all the weeds. It was really strange because half of the doughboy, in front of the doughboy, the flower bed, or it's more like a decorative grasses bed, was full of weeds, and the other side was not. And I don't know if someone is responsible for weeding that in general, and they had done that side but not the other side. But it would be a really great idea now to mulch because we weeded it. It looked like it could use some mulch. I don't know if that's part of your ongoing plan. Or who really maintains that area usually.
We have a landscaping company who takes care of that. We could get in touch with them and have them come and mulch.
Okay, that would be great, especially since we got Veterans Day just coming up next week.
Yeah.
So, okay, great.
He's also on the chamber board.
Oh.
So if you come to the chamber meetings.
Okay, yeah, well, I do my best. I travel for work, so I can't always be here. And then the one other thing I wanted to mention, and I know you guys have talked about this at meetings before, I really, as part of the community group that I'm trying to start, want to get people more engaged, want to get them interested, what's going on, what kind of topics do you even talk about? If they've never been to a meeting before, it can probably be pretty intimidating to show up. You don't know what to expect. You're all sitting up here, like, if you've never been to a meeting, I think that can be a little intimidating. And so I'd like to be able to tell them kind of what's on the agenda, what topics are going to be discussed. And I know you're putting it together kind of at the last minute, and I've heard in the past it's tough to get all the agenda items coming from the various council members in advance. But it would be really helpful, I think, if you all could try your best to get that agenda together and share it with the public. The Friday before the Tuesday meeting, for example, so that people have an opportunity to, plan for it in their schedules. I know what it's like, I've worked for boards, which is very similar, and trying to get everybody to get their agenda items to you is really hard. So I don't envy your job, Jerry. But that would be really, really helpful if everyone could work towards that.
If you go to the school board meetings, you'll get the agenda the night of.
Well, I'm just making the request, so I guess,
I understand, but they can go back and look at prior agendas once we get them onto the website and see the kind of things that are discussed. And there really aren't, it's what your concerns are as a resident. It's not what we're talking about, it's what are your concerns?
But in my experience, people get engaged in their community when there's a reason to get engaged. And unfortunately, that's often when there's something like bad that happens. So it'd be really nice to get people involved when there's something good going on. And if they know what you guys are going to be talking about, I don't see why there's any reason to not share that information with the public as soon as you know that you're going to be talking about it. I remembered and I wrote down from the previous council meeting that you were going to have a discussion maybe on land banks because the mayor brought that up. I think that's of great interest to the public. They are not going to show up to your meeting about land banks to share their opinion, to hear your opinions, and you discuss it if they don't know about it in advance. So that's the kind of thing I'm suggesting. So thank you for your consideration.
And the next meeting is when? Community meeting? Monday.
Thank you. It's like the Monday before Thanksgiving.
Right.
Which is also a school board meeting, so anybody.
Actually, I looked that up on the calendar after you mentioned that, and I didn't see that.
Really?
Yeah, so I think.
It's their public meeting. The 3rd. Yeah, I think it's the third Monday of every month.
Well, I looked at their schedule, so I guess I'll have to go back and check again.
They might have changed it, I don't know.
I went back and looked at on the website there, and I didn't see a meeting that day, so I was like, oh, good, I didn't, look over it. Because I did try my best not to schedule over those, because I do think they're important.
I have a question. Are the agendas currently added to the minutes after, retroactively after it's finished?
We have them, we don't, the agendas aren't really, they're available, but we keep the minutes in a book. The agendas go with it, I guess, yeah.
I'm just thinking retroactively, if we're gonna have, I'm thinking website-wise, of course, but if we have our, the calendar publicly available, then maybe retroactively as a step in the direction. Retroactively, if we link it, if it's through a Google Calendar, you can have notes. You can just link the digital, electronic version of the agenda. So if somebody wanted to see retroactively what kind of things people are talking about as a step in the right direction, it's not, in advance, but they could see retroactively what people had talked about. So you could just add last month's, so that if they were gonna check the calendar, it was available.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Can I have a motion for adjournment to exec session, and we do not need to return?
I'll make a motion to
Second.
adjourn. to
Motion by
exec
Mr.
session.
Conti, second by Mrs. Provenza. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
It's up at 1:30, I didn't fall back to sleep.